Charlie Van here with PFL Featherweight Tyler Diamond. Tyler, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. And I also want to say congrats again on becoming a dad. How's fatherhood going so far for you?
Gosh dang, it's been quite the adjustment. But luckily my wife is the real MVP. So she makes my life pretty easy. So gosh dang, it's going good. Smooth sailing for me.
Have you been able to take him to some of your practices at the gym? Has he been at the gym yet? Still a little too young.
Yeah, no, so my wife works online. So and we travel out of town to Sacramento to go train. So she usually just comes with me and we bring the baby and it's funny, even though he's only 3.5 months old, he's like fixated on practice. I don't know if it's just like moving people or what, but he'll sit there just so good and just watch for an hour and a half, and it's pretty incredible.
So at what age does he take to the mat? Is it 1, 2 years
Uh,
old?
yeah, I guess when he can start running around, he'll be on that thing. So just
He'll-
got to keep him, just got to keep on the clean mats, keep
yeah.
away from dirty people.
He'll
So,
he'll he'll be doing a fireman's carry in 18 months. Just a
hey,
couple.
I'd be happy about that.
How old were you when you took to the mats first time?
Gosh dang, I was a late bloomer, man. I didn't start wrestling until the sixth grade.
Okay.
So I had to play catch up to a lot of guys. It seemed like everyone on the team at the time had been wrestling since a kid, and they were just like beating me up, and everyone on other teams was beating me up all the time. But within the course of a year, everything started changing. I started beating up all those guys because I think I just took it a little bit more serious and worked a lot harder than those. And so that all started from a young age, and then just kind of carried over as I've gotten older.
Was that just like late promotion for you as far as the sport goes, like just late introduction?
I just my parents weren't super interested in getting me in sports, I guess, or
Hmm.
just had different priorities at the time. And then when I finally showed interest in wanting to do sports, they're like, okay, well, yeah, we'll get you in it. And so just kind of just all kind of organically happened for me. I mean, my neighbor and I say neighbor, he lived like a quarter mile away. My neighbor came over one day and was like, hey, I'm going to wrestling practice. And I'm like, hell yeah, I want to hit people with chairs. So I went and it wasn't what I thought at all. But my dad was like, hey, once you start something, you can't quit. So you got to keep going. And I'm like, all right. And I did. So, and then I don't know if I was just too stupid to never quit or what, but here I am still competing. So that don't quit attitude is carried over because here I am 30 years old and still doing the thing.
Well, and you get to revisit that tournament structure again with the PFL and talk about that. I know you signed about a year ago with the PFL, and then of course that season unfortunately got postponed due to COVID. What has the last year been like for you, and when did this matchup with Sung Binjo come together?
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head. Signed like a year ago, and then shortly after, found out the season got postponed, and that was kind of a bummer for me, man, because I signed with the intent of fighting within a couple months, and in my eyes, I was like, damn, I'm gonna win this tournament. I'm gonna win a bunch of money, and then it went from, oh, you ain't gonna make any money fighting this year. So, luckily, over the last couple of years, I've been working on outside sources of income other than fighting, not just relying on fighting. So I got a meal prep business. I went and got my real estate license. I just really took advantage of my time. It was like, okay, if I'm not gonna be fighting this year, like, what am I gonna do? So number one was I'm gonna do whatever I can to make as much money as I can while not fighting. So I uh I became a better business owner in the sense of there was things that I needed to learn, and by not focusing on training and having all that time, it allowed me to do that. So I learned all the ins and outs of running my business even more efficiently than I would have maybe if I was training all the time. And I started doing construction, so I kind of learned a trade there. And like I said, I got my real estate license. I didn't start doing real estate yet, as that's super time consuming, and I just simply don't have the time to do that right now.
Mm.
But I have the license, so I can pretty much start whenever I want. So yeah, man, in 2020, I just kept my nose to the grindstone and stayed positive instead of getting all down about like, oh dang it, might not be fighting. It was like, hey, I need to look at the positive here. I now have time to focus on things I didn't have time to focus on before. So that's what I did.
What do you think draws fighters to real estate? Because obviously we know Uriah Faber is involved with real estate. There's other fighters as well. And what do you think makes them stand out when going into that avenue?
Yeah, I'm not sure what draws fighters into it per se. For me personally, um, we have a wealth of information at our fingertips now. Like there's never been an easier time to be a human being, right? So for me, um, it all came to fruition with like, okay, what can I do to bring in outside money? And I've always been interested in real estate. Like I want to buy up as much property and land as I can eventually. And my mother-in-law is a very successful real estate agent. And I just in talking to her and like seeing how busy she can be, but how not busy she can be at other times when she wants to, and kind of having that semi-flexible schedule really appealed to me. And because that's how I am now. Like I have a very flexible, loose schedule. Like I make my own schedule, and I love living that lifestyle. And kind of creating your own luck. And when you hustle, good things happen. And if you want to pull things back, whatever. So that was kind of the appeal for me. And my whole thing is like, gosh dang, if I don't like it, I have so many other routes I can go. But now that I actually did the work and got my license, I have it, and I can do that whenever I like.
And you also mentioned about your prep service. How's that been through, 2020 now? Has there been more business picking up, more fighters, or just people just interested in it?
Yeah, so it's hard to say whether COVID helped us or hurt us because we didn't start business till October of 2019, and this
Mhm.
all organically happened too, by the way. I mean, um, people say to follow your dreams, and that's true, but I'm also a big believer in following opportunities. And me and my wife had a golden opportunity. I mean, our dream wasn't to start a meal prep business, but um, what happened was we were meal prepping for me all the time. We were putting them on Instagram and just kind of like a look what we cook today, not as like a promotional thing. And we had so many people hitting us up all the time. We're like, dang, there really is a need in our area for this. So man, I just started looking into it while I was in fight camp in 2019. I started doing all the groundwork to become a legit business, and I did. And we launched in October of 2019. And then, as you know, 6 months later, COVID happened, right? So we were on the up anyway. And so
Mhm.
it's hard to tell whether it helped or hindered our business because we basically been dealing with COVID since we've been in business, pretty much. And we've done fine. We've done great because it's what I tell people is meal preps are great for anybody, whether
Yeah.
you're an old person that doesn't like cooking, but you want to get away from the Marie Callender's frozen bullshit, or whether you're a single mom or a single
Mhm.
parent, or whether you're super busy during the day, like, and you want to eat healthier, or if you're just want to, or if you're just a person that wants to eat healthier in general, if you don't like cooking, whatever, like whatever the case may be, like meal preps are ideal for people, especially in certain situations. So, um, yeah, whether COVID helped us hurt us, I don't know. I mean, we're 23% ahead on sales this year compared to last year, and I really enjoy owning our own business. I mean, it's not a stress-free thing,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but it's very enjoyable, like learning all the different ins and outs, what works, what doesn't, and we're really enjoying it. And I'm actually looking at expanding as soon as possible.
Now, do you enjoy cooking? Are you a fan of cooking? I know you like to hunt. Do you add any of the things that you hunt into your meal prep?
Yeah, so that technically that would be like illegal. I can't.
Yeah.
And plus that stuff's like gold to me anyway, so I
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't. I don't know how much someone could pay me to do that, but technically that's illegal and I can't anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love cooking. And
Mhm.
and God, most hunters do, like we go out, we spend a lot of money, we work so hard, and then when you're finally successful, like that meat is like gold to you. And then so you got to learn how to cook it correctly as well. And so yeah, I thoroughly enjoy cooking. My
Mhm.
wife really loves cooking, so that's a good thing too. So typically she does all the veggies and
Yeah.
carbs, and I stick to doing all the meat. So
Well, let's talk about your opponent, Sung Bin Jo. So you finally got a dance partner, April 23rd.
heck
Just
yeah.
talk about what's going through your mind and just what's the puzzle of him that you're interested in solving?
Yeah. So he presents problems in the fact that he's super long. He's a pretty crisp striker, and without being able to throw elbows in PFL. that presents problems for me as far as like if we get in a ground and pound situation or if we get in a clinch, right? Because I'm the shorter fighter, so that would usually help me out. But yeah, I respect him as opponent. I think he's super tough. I think he's really durable, and he has no quit in him. I mean, if you watch the fight of his before he got signed to the UFC, like that guy was freaking good, and he was putting it on him a little bit, and he was winning the fight, and then Sung Bin just found a freaking way to win. And that when you have that never say die attitude and you just don't quit, like you'll win a lot of fights. Like Darren Elkins, Mirsad Bektik is case in point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You always have a chance to win as long as you don't quit and as long as you keep working hard. And that's what Sung Bin did, and he won. And that fight really impressed me. And that fight let me know, like, hey, I'm gonna have to fight this dude. Like, he's not just gonna fold when I hit him in the mouth a couple times. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to test myself, but ultimately, I don't see where he beats me, to be honest.
Do you like to make predictions at all for your fight? You just kind of go in there and just let the chips fall, but you know what you want to impose.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let the chips fall where they may, but I mean, if it's my prediction, like I'm trying to finish him in the first round. I'm gonna try and put him out as soon as I can. Like I'm gonna be cool and calculated, but when the finish presents itself, like I'm gonna go for it with every single thing I have. Like I'm trying to get this fight done as early as possible. I get paid the same no matter what,
Mm.
and if I get finish it earlier, I get seated better in the tournament. So there's plenty of incentive, and so that's the end goal for me is finish it in round one, get it done in 30 seconds. I don't care.
And going back to earlier, how is it being in that tournament kind of environment? Set it again, and there's points, and of course, $1 million
Yeah,
on the line.
yeah. So that was the ultimate appeal for me was the money. Like I'm 30 years old now. Like when I was young, I would fight and I would leave the venue without getting paid sometimes and be like, oh shit, I need to go back and get paid. But like I was just so passionate. But now I'm still passionate, right? But my focus has shifted. Like I wasn't just kind of a young, dumb kid like I was, like that just like fuck because I loved it. Like now it's all about getting paid for me. Like I've been doing this for a long time. Like I'm getting older. Like and I say that like I'm not old, I'm only 30, but you get what I mean? Your perspective
Yeah.
shifts as you mature. And for me, it's all about money and getting paid what I feel like I'm worth. And I think that's what's gonna happen here with PFL. Like I'm getting paid what I'm worth. And that's ultimately what I'm after in this sport is getting paid as much as I can and having fun while I'm at it.
Well, and also it looks like they've changed the structure a little bit because they're going to eliminate quarterfinals for the
Yeah,
playoffs. It's straight to the semifinals. Um, does that feel kind of similar to being back where you were in that tough house before? I mean, you did have that first fight, the quarterfinal, but you got to have kind of more of an urgency in the seeding now.
totally. There's way more urgency to finish fights now, like you said. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like there's only 4 playoff spots now. Like that puts a lot of pressure on. Like you got to finish these fights. And it's kind of unfortunate they did that. I was looking forward to fighting twice in one night. It really was, but instead of having 12 guys in the bracket, they only have 10 this year. And with the COVID present its challenges, I guess that's what they felt like they needed to do. So it is what it is. I plan on being here next year anyway, and maybe they'll open it back up. I don't know, because that is an additional fight, which is more
Mhm.
money. But yeah, we'll take it one fight at a time, 1 year at a time, and next year maybe they'll open it up and I'll get that additional fight, those 2 fights in one night, and that'll be fun.
And you get to be back ESPN too.
Hell yeah. That's freaking awesome. That's every athlete's dream, man, is to be on ESPN. So that'll be very cool.
And what's it like been so far? I know obviously you haven't had a fight with PFL, but just kind of everything in over the past year, how they've been and just kind of the talks and just kind of building that relationship.
Everything's been great so far. I mean, I fought for the UFC, which was pretty top notch, and PFL's been right there with them as far as everything so far to me. Like I'm happy. I have no complaints. They're treating us like the professionals we are, and they're taking care of us. And yeah, man. I mean, this is home for now. Is PFL. Like I plan on ultimately being here for the rest of my career. Like I don't see me being a one and done type of guy, and I won't fight back in the B leagues. I just won't. Like it's PFL or bust for me. Like And so this is home for me for the next few years in my eyes, and I'm happy with where I'm at.
Now, I know you're there in New Jersey. How's things in New Jersey right now? What are you doing to kind of
Yeah.
pass the time outside of training? Because I know you're kind of keeping tight right now up into the
Yeah.
fight.
You know what? The freaking days go by quick. Like, we quarantined for 2 days in the hotel, but that was nothing. Like, I was in a freaking hotel for 10 days for tough one time. But so 2 days wasn't a big deal. Today was our first opportunity to start training, which is nice. So man, I got plenty to do. Like, I got the business to run on the computer, and all kinds of things that I've been needing to do but wasn't able to do with having a baby and a business and training. Like, here, I have nothing to do, so I'm just in this room. Like, I'm still grinding. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just taking care of things, taking care of things that I've needed to do. So there's plenty of things to keep me occupied. The days I've actually been going pretty quick.
And are you binge watching anything while you get downtime at all? Like any
Yeah,
shows you're watching, movies?
I've been watching like an episode or two every night of Yellowstone. That freaking show
Oh
is a
yeah,
deal.
I heard good things. I need to
Yeah,
check
yeah,
it
you
out.
should definitely dive into that. I don't get to watch too much TV anymore, especially within the last year or so. But if I'm lucky, if the wife and baby fall asleep, I get to like watch one episode like every other night or so. But here, I get to watch it every night, so that's badass.
Well, hey, Kevin Costner, he's the man. Do
Oh,
you?
dude, Kevin Costner is the man. I'm gonna be like John Dutton, Kevin Costner's character on Yellowstone when I'm older. That's gonna be me.
Do you have a favorite sports movie?
You know,
I know that could be a tough question sometimes because there's a
that's a
good
dang tough
variety.
question. That's a dang tough question because when I think of my favorite movies, I don't see any of them being sport movies necessarily.
Yeah,
I just like Forrest Gump always comes to my mind whenever anyone says movie or favorite. Like,
yeah.
that movie is just freaking genius to me. Um,
It covers everything though. I mean, it has a little bit of sports. It has war as
yeah, it
well.
does.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that movie is just so well thought of. Like, I don't think we'll ever see a movie quite like that ever again. Honestly, like, I think it's just freaking genius. And Tom Hanks was the man in that movie. I don't think he necessarily is per se anymore in person, but he was in the movie at least.
well, one thing I want to go back to because you're talking about running a business, also being a fighter. Just any advice to fighters out there that would like to do the same thing? Because obviously, this past year is tough for a lot of people. Not a lot of fights going on. So how to
Yeah,
keep that grind going, or just in
yeah,
general, if they're like, I want to build for the future. So what's your advice?
totally. I have a ton of advice. So the the first 4 years of my career, I did nothing but train 2 to 3 times a day, Monday to Friday, once on Saturday. Like, I did that, and I like taught wrestling in the gaps to supplement income as well as fighting. I barely scraped by. I was dead broke. And then when I got to a point where I feel like I had caught up to the pack in a sense, I was like, okay, I need to do something to help with my income because at this point I'm training all the time, but I'm like always stressed in the back of my mind of like, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that? Right. I was dead broke. I couldn't pay for jack crap, any extra amenities. Right. So when I started learning how to manage my time better, I realized like, dang, there's so many hours in the day. There's no reason why I can't train and fight MMA and then also work at doing this or that, right? So my best advice is like, the more things you have on your plate, as long as you're not overloading yourself, the better person you're going to be. We are better people when we have responsibility. We aren't when we don't have any responsibility. And you see that with like famous people, right? They lose all responsibility to get everything done for them. And then all of a sudden they turn to this and that. It's not always the case, but more often than not, it is. So the busier you are, the better of a person you're going to be. And so what I say is to people is carry a big workload, do as much as you can, and figure out ways of making money outside of fighting. And there's all kinds of businesses that you can start or do, at least attempt, that don't cost much money. I mean, you have social media that's a free marketing tool. There's point of sales that charge basically nothing. You can start an online store. Like, shipping is nothing. Like, it's just, that's just my advice, is to put as much on yourself as you can without being overloaded. You'll be a better person for it. And you got to find ways outside of fighting to make money. You really do. You like, it's good to put all your eggs in one basket as far as fighting. Like, when you want to do that, like, yeah, focus on fighting, train, and this and that, but save a little bit of room to do other things too. And you know, when you finally get financial freedom and you're not stressing about money, it makes training and makes actually fighting a lot more enjoyable too.
Well, finally, before I let you go, I want to thank you so much again for taking your time this evening with me. I know you had a wild lift ride the other day. Apparently, you had a wild.
Bro,
I'm glad you're okay.
yeah, I'm glad I made it.
90 miles is a little, I mean, getting
90
getting
to
you there.
90 to 95 the whole way. I was like, damn, I hope a deer don't jump out in front of us. We're screwed.
I know usually Lyft has that, like, are you okay? Or like, you haven't made it to your destination yet. I think at that speed.
Yeah, well, what they did that on Twitter. I wrote something on Twitter, and they did exactly what you said, and
Mm.
I quoted him and said, "I ain't no snitch." You know, I'm not telling on my boy Muhammad. That was his name. You don't know his last name, but I don't know it either. But his name was Muhammad, and he was going 95 miles an hour the way here, and I was. He probably has a permanent like clinch marks in his door for me. I was just like, damn, I gotta hold on tight.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you're okay. Glad you made it. And, looking forward to seeing your fight April 23rd. What would you like to say to your fans, your family out there watching?
Yeah, just happy to be fighting for PFL. Happy to represent Oroville, California, and Butte County, and Northern California in general. And I got to thank my sponsor, Sheath Underwear, and Rod Broker, a local company for fishing. So, got to thank those guys, and then obviously thank you for having me on tonight. And I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Tyler. You have a good one, man.
Hey, you too, brother.